really want to live with hippies, stoners, and rebellious teens? Well, with the turn of the century game and news sleeves. Here's the decade 2000 through 2009. Here today, Amy Goodman was interviewed in our studios, but she asked for her face to be blurred out during the interview. Hello, Miss Goodman. What are your beliefs in the freedom of independent media?
Being the co-host of the show Democracy Now!, an independent media outlet, I believe in the freedom of media. The president has molded the media into his liking, and I believe that it is important that the country knows about the protests going on regarding the war on rap.
In Independent Media in a Time of War, published in April 21st, 2003, you wrote, and I quote, "They have refined general news, and we have got to challenge them. Can you please elaborate?"
Bigger news companies like CNN and NBC are choosing their words that they use on television. Some have come very late into the discussion of the riots, and it's hurting the American population. That is why we must fight for an independent media.
In political news, with the turn of the century, a new president came into office. President George W. Bush became the 43rd President of the United States. Throughout his 8 years of being president, he was losing popularity fast. In 2006, the Democrats reconquered Congress. In 2009, the first African-American president was elected into office, Barack Obama. Barack Obama's most important topic that he had to take on was the health care reform. On point of the century was the economic standpoint of the country. The U.S. went into recession and unemployment rose to new heights. The decade was deemed worse economically than the Great Depression. The housing bubble burst led to the collapsation of the financial system. George W. Bush enabled the Emergency Economic Stability Act 2008 on October 3rd. It was commonly referred to as the bailout of the U.S. financial system. It enabled the U.S. Secretary of Treasury to spend up to $700 billion to supply cash directly to banks. On military, on September 11, 2001, terror struck the country. 4 planes were hijacked that day. 2 were sent to the World Trade Center, 1 to the Pentagon. The passengers on the plane heading to the Capitol successfully overthrew the terrorists on the plane. They landed in Pennsylvania. After this event took place, many U.S. citizens were scared, and President George W. Bush officially declared the war on terrorism. The District of Columbia passed legislation barring the registration of handguns, requiring licenses for all pistols, and maintaining that all legal firearms must be kept unloaded and disassembled or trigger locked. A group of private gun owners brought the suit claiming that the law violated their Second Amendment right to bear arms. The social and cultural rises of 2000-2009 took place virtually through the technology. In 2001, the releasement of Wikipedia came, and in 2003, the first ever social media site, MySpace, was released. A year later, Facebook was released. A compact computer called the iPod was released in 2001, and Twitter, which would only use 140 characters to describe your personal life, came in 2005. YouTube, which this video's description is based off of, came into play in 2005, and the Apple iPhone, the Amazon Kindle, and Google Street View also were invented in 2007. Top gadgets were also released during this decade, like the Xbox, BlackBerry, Wii Remote, and the Garmin GPS. The GPS allowed drivers to have easy access to maps. With the release of Blu-ray in 2006, many classic movies were being remade or remodeled to fit the new home entertainment system. Many people will now stay home instead of going out to movie theaters for a cheaper way to watch their favorite film. Many great movies came out of the 2000 decade, like The Gladiator, Beautiful Mind, Chicago, The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, $1 Million Baby, Crash, The Departed, No County for Old Men, Slumdog Millionaire, and Hurt Locker became the best pictures in the Oscars through that decade. The top box office winners of that decade were The Grinch, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Spider-Man, Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, Shrek 2, Star Wars, The Revenge of the Sith, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, Spider-Man 3, The Dark Knight, and Avatar. The television system had also changed with the century. More dramas like Breaking Bad, Mad Men, and Lost were being released. More competition shows were also being released during this decade, like American Idol in 2002, The Amazing Race in 2001, The Bachelor / Bachelorette, and Dancing with the Stars. In 2005, Avatar: The Last Airbender also made its release on Nickelodeon Channel. Comedies were also being released during the daytime, like The Office, and 30 Rock. And here are the top books from the decade. 1. The Kite Runner, What is the What? And 10. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. The music of the decade had turned from soul and funk to an upbeat dance style and also more relied on technology. The decade had it all, from new technology to killer cultural events. This is why 2000 to 2009 was the best decade ever.